Hi, this is Emanuele Papais, Business Development Manager at Dave Embedded Systems. Today, I would like to explain how Dave Embedded can support companies with the Cyber Resilience Act assessment, turning compliance in opportunity.
Understanding the Cyber Resilience Act and its market impact.
Resilience Act, commonly referred to as CRA, represents one of the most significant regulatory shifts in the European Union's approach to product cybersecurity. It establishes mandatory cybersecurity requirements for all products with digital elements covering both hardware and software and applies throughout the entire product lifecycle, from design and development to maintenance and end of life. The regulation was introduced to address the growing number of cyber threats affecting connected products, such as industrial controllers, embedded Linux platforms, IoT gateways, and smart devices used in both consumer and professional environments. By setting a common baseline of security requirements, the CRA aims to improve trust in digital products across the European market. A critical aspect of the CRA is that compliance is no longer optional. Any company that wants to place a product with digital elements on the EU market must demonstrate that cybersecurity has been considered from the earliest design phases and maintained over time. This includes secure development practice, protection against known vulnerabilities, the ability to deliver security updates, and clear technical documentation that proves compliance. For manufacturers of embedded and industrial systems, this represents a substantial change as security can no longer be treated as an add-on or a late-stage activity. The CRA also directly impacts market access and competitiveness. The products that do not meet CRA requirements risk being delayed, withdrawn, or blocked from the EU market entirely. At the same time, compliant products gain a competitive advantage as customers and partners increasingly demand demonstrable cybersecurity assurance. In this context, CRA compliance becomes not only a legal necessity but also a strategic business factor. Dave Embedded System positions the CRA not as a burden but as an opportunity to improve product quality, resilience, and long-term sustainability by helping companies interpret regulatory requirements and translate them into concrete engineering actions. Dave Embedded enables organizations to align security compliance and innovation. This approach allows manufacturers to protect their products, their customers, and their brand, while continuing to operate efficiently in a highly regulated digital market.
Key CRA deadlines and the operational challenges for companies.
While the Cyber Resilience Act sets clear objectives, the real challenge for companies lies in the execution. CRA compliance is not a one-time certification exercise, but an ongoing operational commitment that affects development, maintenance, and organizational processes. One of the most pressing aspects is the regulatory timeline. The CRA entered into force in 2024, but its obligations are phased in over several years, requiring early preparation and long-term planning. From September 2026, manufacturers will be required to implement formal vulnerability handling and reporting processes. This means companies must be able to detect vulnerabilities, assess their severity, apply mitigation, and report actively exploited vulnerabilities within defined timeframes. By September 2027, full CRA compliance becomes mandatory for products placed on the EU market. These deadlines are particularly challenging for embedded and industrial products, which often have development cycles and lifespan measured in years or even decades. Operationally, many organizations are not yet structured to meet these requirements. Development teams may lack formal threat modeling practice. Security testing may be inconsistent, and the update mechanism may not be designed for long-term maintenance. In addition, responsibilities for security, compliance, and incident response are often fragmented across departments, creating gaps and inefficiencies. Failure to address these challenges proactively can lead to serious consequences. Companies risk delays in product launches, increased remediation costs, regulatory penalties, and loss of market access. Conversely, organizations that start adapting their processes early can spread the effort over time, reduce disruption, and gain clarity on their compliance status. The embedded system helps companies navigate these challenges by translating regulatory timelines into practical engineering roadmaps. By aligning security activities with product life cycles and business priorities, Dave enables organizations to meet CRA deadlines with confidence, while maintaining control over cost, schedules, and technical complexity.
From CRA security assessment to an actionable roadmap.
Dave Embedded System approaches CRA compliance through a structured engineering-driven methodology that begins with a comprehensive CRA-oriented security assessment. This assessment is designed to provide companies with a clear understanding of how the regulation applies to their specific products and where gaps exist in relation to CRA requirements. Rather than offering generic advice, Dave Embedded focuses on the real technical characteristics of each product. The assessment typically starts with an analysis of the system architecture and attack surface. This includes identifying critical components, data flow, interfaces, and potential threat vectors. Both hardware and software elements are reviewed, ensuring that dependencies such as third-party libraries, operating systems, and firmware are fully understood. This step is essential for determining the actual risk profile of the product and its exposure to known and emerging threats. Next, Dave Embedded evaluate the applicability of the CRA and the classification of the product under the regulation. This helps companies understand which requirements apply, what level of conformity assessment is expected, and which obligations must be prioritized. A detailed gap analysis is then performed, comparing the current state of the product against CRA essential requirements, including secure development practice, vulnerability handling, and documentation. The outcome of this process is not just a report, but a clear and actionable roadmap. This roadmap defines concrete actions, priorities, and timelines, allowing teams to move from assessment to implementation efficiently. By providing clarity and structure, Dave Embedded enables companies to make informed decisions, allocate resources effectively, and progress towards CRA compliance in a controlled and measurable way.
Integrating security by design into an embedded architecture.
A core principle of the Cyber Resilience Act is security by design, and this is where Dave Embedded System places strong emphasis. Security by design means integrating cybersecurity measures directly into the product architecture from the earliest stages, rather than adding protection later as corrective actions. This approach not only improves security outcomes but also reduces long-term and operational complexity. Dave supports the implementation of key technical measures aligned with CRA expectations. This includes secure boot mechanism and root of trust that ensures only authorized software can run on the device. Hardware security features such as TPM, HSM, or secure elements are leveraged to protect cryptography keys and sensitive data. At the software level, systems are hardened through configuration access control and minimization of attack surface. Secure update mechanisms are another critical area. Dave Embedded helps designing secure over-the-air update architectures that allows vulnerabilities to be patched reliably throughout the product lifecycle. Device identity and authentication mechanisms are also integrated, ensuring that devices can be uniquely identified and securely managed in the field. By aligning hardware and software security measures, Dave Embedded creates a coherent architecture that are resilient by default. This proactive approach reduces the likelihood of vulnerabilities, simplifies compliance activities, and supports long-term maintenance obligations under the CRA. Ultimately, security by design enables companies to build products that are not only compliant but robust, trustworthy, and competitive in demanding industrial and embedded markets.
Turning CRA compliance into long-term business value.
The Cyber Resilience Act should not be viewed solely as a regulatory hurdle, but as a strategic opportunity to strengthen products and organizations. By enforcing consistent cybersecurity practice, the CRA encourages higher quality, greater reliability, and increased trust in digital products. Companies that embrace this perspective can transform compliance efforts into a source of competitive advantage. With the support of Dave Embedded Systems, organizations are able to reduce regulatory and technical risk while accelerating time to market. A structured CRA approach helps avoid last-minute redesigns, unexpected certification issues, and costly delays. At the same time, improved security practice reduces the likelihood of incidents that could damage reputation or result in legal consequences. Dave engineering-driven methodology ensures that compliance activities are closely aligned with real product development processes. This makes security a natural part of everyday engineering work, rather than an external constraint. Over time, this leads to more mature developed practices, clear responsibilities, and stronger collaboration between technical and compliance teams.
In conclusion, CRA compliance is an inevitable requirement for companies operating in the EU digital market. By partnering with Dave Embedded Systems, organizations can approach this challenge with confidence, turning regulatory obligations into an opportunity to build secure, compliant, and future-ready products. This not only ensures market access, but also lays the foundation for long-term innovation and trust in an increasingly connected world.